everyone. I hope you are doing well today.
So, why am I here, you may ask? In case you don't know, I have been on a southern fried chicken journey, if that makes any sense. I have been cooking fried chicken for quite a long time now. I'm not afraid to admit this, 8 times out of 10, it's been a failure. The chicken is undercooked, the batter is soggy, the batter is too thick or burnt. I have been doing loads and loads of cooking and studying and researching, if that makes any sense. After loads of attempts, I have finally, and I repeat, finally found it. This is going to be the definitive recipe for my, get ready for this, Smfc. Shea Mcdonough'S fried chicken. So first, obviously for fried chicken, you're going to need chicken, and I've just got here some plain old chicken drumsticks, but you can do this with thighs, with the breast, with the wing, whether it's the whole wing like in 2 pieces or separate wings, so you could do like hot wings, whatever you want. I am next going to get quite a bit more because we're going to be putting the chicken in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bung this chicken in there. This is the first trick that I've learned to making really good fried chicken, and that is I don't do a wet brine. Why, you may ask? Whenever you do a wet brine, you are going to have to use a lot of water or buttermilk or vinegar, and it is quite a waste because, you know, it can't be reused. And I wanted to keep my fried chicken recipe as simple as possible and as accessible as possible. So instead, as a way to make sure to get that flavour in there, what I do is a dry brine. But before we do the dry brine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some slits into my chicken. I'd say 3 at the most. So 1, 2, 3. And what this does is it's going to give it a sort of like scraggy appearance when it's cooked, but I promise you this will be for the best. What this does is it allows the dry brine seasoning to get deep into the chicken all the way down to the bone, and also it makes it quicker and easier to cook right down to the bone. Because this is bone-in chicken, a lot of the times whenever I make fried chicken it's boneless, but I finally did this recipe so not only can you do this with boneless pieces such as boneless thighs or the breast, but you can do this with the bone in as well, so that is killing 2 birds with 1 stone in that sense. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some seasonings to make the dry brine, and for this dry brine I'm going to add a generous pinch of the following: some salt, some pepper, quite a bit of pepper, a bit more than the salt. You want the pepper seasoning quite full on, some chili powder, some cayenne pepper. Again, you can adjust accordingly for your taste. Some ground ginger, some Italian mixed herbs, and finally I am going to add some garlic salt. There we go, in it goes. And now I'm just going to make sure to get this thoroughly rubbed in to the chicken. So there's your dry brine chicken mixed with all the seasonings and ready to go. I'm going to put this in my refrigerator now overnight, so roughly maybe 12 hours roughly. The maximum you could go is, I'd say, 48 hours, but I wouldn't go any longer than 48 hours, otherwise your chicken could start to go off. So I'm going to bun this in the fridge. Okay, so it is the next day, and if you look in the fridge, my chicken there has been dry brining for roughly a day now, over 12 hours. What I'm going to do is now, I've got a pan here that's about to heat on medium heat. I'm going to fill this pan with 1/4 full of oil. You don't want to like overly fill it, so we're kind of shallow frying. That works perfect. I did forget to mention this, but I'll just say it now. I recommend you always use vegetable oil for when you are deep frying food. It's the best deep frying oil, in my opinion, that you can use. It's a high smoking point oil. It can take it. This recipe is heavily inspired, I should say, and I take many tips from two YouTube chefs, and that is Mama Cherry and Quan Tran. And these are some tips from Mama Cherry that I've heard. So the first thing is...
So because my oil is fresh, I'm just going to put a little knob of butter.
Okay.
Now that helps with the browning process and a little bit of the flavor.
There's one more secret ingredient. And if we go in the fridge, you will notice, ladies and gentlemen, that I have a mason jar. Just a plain old mason jar. And if I open this up, I have oil in that jar.
And that is from the last time that I cooked my fried chicken.
Okay.
So, for flavor's sake, I'm going to just add a touch of that oil in there.
Okay.
When it comes to the butter and the oil, what I would recommend is for the butter, preferably you should add real butter. You, I think, can get away with like margarine or Lurpak, but preferably you do want to use real butter. Salted or unsalted, it's up to you. And also, well, you can see it like that. And also what I would recommend is when it comes to using old oil, don't use oil that's like too old or dirtied. So it's got like a lot of black burnt bits in it, or it's too old. The most you could leave it for and use it is, I'd say, a week or 5 days. But after that, if it's too old, don't use it. You want this chicken to be as good quality as you possibly can. Now we can get on to the most important part of the fried chicken recipe, and that is dredging the chicken. Now, in the past, I've always sort of believed in the flour, egg, flour method, but with this came a load of problems. One of the biggest problems is that if the batter is too thick, then you're going to have undercooked chicken, and no one wants that. And also sometimes I used to finish fried chicken in the oven, but I've now come to realise that it makes the batter really soggy, so I'm having to put it in there for a long time. So the chicken gets overcooked, the batter is overcooked, and it burns, and it doesn't work out at all. So do this method instead, and I promise you it will be worth it. Self-raising white flour, but you can do this with all-purpose, self-raising, plain flour, whatever flour you've got. I wouldn't recommend using something like 00 or black bread flour because it wouldn't work. What I've got here is, this is another trick from Mama Cherry that I've learned, is
I have got a bag, and this is the best way to do it. Get yourself a baggie, a bag, plastic bag, fill it with some flour.
yeah, a good half a cup. We are going to season this flour with the following: salt, pepper, onion granules, garlic sauce, Italian mixed herbs, some parsley, a dash, just a gentle dash of cumin, some ground ginger, some smoked paprika, but normal paprika will work just as well, some cayenne pepper. Now again, you make it as hot or as mild as you like. If you like it hot, put more in. If you like it mild, put less in. Some chili powder, chicken seasoning here. I got this from an Asian supermarket, chicken seasoning. It's kind of like something you'd find with chicken ramen, instant ramen, very similar. And some coriander. So now we have a bag full of flour and seasoning. Nice. Okay, whilst we're here, I'm just going to check if the oil is ready. And here's another little tip for you. I'm going to turn the heat down now. You see the oil here? Just give it a quick stir. There we go. I'm going to bung a chopstick.
Stick in a chopstick, we see beautiful bubbles bubbling up around a beautiful chopstick or pan ready.
What we're going to do is very simple. Get our chicken, bung it all in, like so, and then preferably you want to use a Ziploc bag because you can just, here we go, close it up, and then give your bag into wash. And you will see just how easier this is compared to something like a flour, egg, and more flour chicken. mouse. As you can see, perfectly coated. Look at that. Everything is dry and everything is fine. So I've just taken the pan off of the heat just because it was getting a bit too hot. Goes to show that I'm not perfect. And what we're going to do is now, we're going to take the chicken, shake off the excess, and then very carefully lay it in and drop. Yeah, you can see it was getting quite hot. So again, just go nice and gently, lay it in and drop. And again, lay it in and drop. There we go. The size of this pan, I'm going to do 3 pieces at a time. There we go, that is heaps better. It's much more cooler now. Now I'm going to just turn it up to medium here. And what you're going to do, this is a trick from Mama Cherry that has changed my life, especially when it comes to cooking chicken on the bone. What I'm going to do is, this is the first cooking phase. I'm going to let this cook for around, I'd say 8 minutes at the maximum. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to
turn them and cover them. And the reason you cover is so that you make sure that it's cooking to the bone.
Right now, what we want to do is develop a nice crispy crust on the outside. Just remain in control of the kitchen. Don't be like overly timid or scared, because then you're going to start to panic and then you'll burn the crust. Just stay nice and calm. And if at any point you think the oil is getting too hot, like let's say it goes wild crazy, here's what you do. Just turn the heat down, or just take it off the hot a bit. That's all you need to do. And you see, the chicken oil will cool down immensely. As you can see, now that I'm in control of the kitchen, I'm feeling much calmer. Much calmer. And let me just show you the colour. And I'll have a look myself. Yeah, not quite there yet. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Take your time and don't rush this. Patience is one of the most important skills to have in the kitchen. It will pay off, I promise you. And I'm saying this as a person who's been cooking for nearly 8 years. I've made my mistakes and I've had my successes. Okay, I think this is a good time to turn the chicken, or just have a check on it. Now, if you forget how many minutes it's been, don't panic. There is another method to this, and you can kind of visibly see. You see the browning on the edges here? That'll give you an indication. Let's just have a check. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Tell me that is not proper golden fried chicken. Oh, yes. That's it. Cooking like Patty LaBelle up in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium-low, and I'm just going to take it off just for the time being. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to cover, like so. Again, you may ask, why do you cover? We want to keep that heat in the pan, and so now what that heat is going to do, trapped inside the pan, is make sure that heat gets deep into the chicken, right down to the bone, and cooks it all the way through. And also, this is important, I'm fairly lucky here because I've got a pan with a hole there so the steam can escape. But if your pan doesn't have a hole on the lid, then just slightly lift the lid off like this. Not like overly like leave it open because you're going to escape too much heat, but just leave a nice tiny gap there. That's perfect. This just allowed for not too much heat to escape, but also keep it in, and allows the steam to escape as well. Because if you just leave the steam in, water is going to drip onto the chicken and the hot oil, and it could be potentially dangerous. So just make sure to, yeah, here it is. You can see the steam coming out. That's what we want. Just let some steam escape, and now what we're going to do is we're going to let this cook for around 15 to 16 minutes. Depending on how big your chicken pieces are. And every 5 minutes or so, just give the chicken a flip to ensure even colouring and even cooking. Okay, so it's been roughly the first 5 minutes. I'm going to take it off. Okay. Just be nice and calm. Nice and calm. And I'm going to flip the chicken here. Look at that. Oh my God, I love fried chicken. And still on the same low to medium heat, put the cover once again, allowing the steam to escape to cook the chicken down to the bone. I'm just doing a simple salad to go with it because, believe it or not, I am trying to lose weight. You know, I'm not afraid to say that. I am quite a big eater. I do have quite a big size, if that makes any sense. I am quite big, fat even. So, I'm just going to do these little salads alongside my food to make sure I have a healthier future. Okay, the last 5 minutes is done. So we're gonna take the lid off now. What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna turn the heat up to full, and what I'm now going to do is, because it's not quite overly crispy because of the steam, so I'm going to put this on full and give it another 2-3 minutes just to make sure it can get nice and crispy, and then this chicken will be ready to drain and ready to eat. Okay, look at this. This is what it should look like. It is, like I said, going to be scraggly, as you can see, but it's going to ensure even cooking. Look at that. Delicious, but it's hot. Oh. As you can see, fully cooked through, right down to the bone. Ultra tender. Oh my god. Crispy. That is phenomenal. Perfect. Perfect. Oh my